Today I'm going to be giving a makeover to this DJ K9. It all begins with a base coat. I am using a creamy white paint. It doesn't have to be exactly white. I usually use a creamy one since it puts the eyes in a more calm mood, I always find. To transform DJ K9's puppy ears into kitty ears, we're going to need to cut off the ear in general. And then we're going to cut off the flapping over part. Use some super glue to reattach it. There should be a nice little cushioning hole where you took out the other ear. I find this works well. Now for the color. I recorded the first coat off camera, sorry. Anyway, so for the color, I'm doing a tabby look. I know some art has a look where it has a pale ginger and only that color, but I wanted to make the custom more interesting in general. One color customs aren't my favorite things, so I'm deciding to make her tabby design. I've seen several tabby designs, so I figured that this would be okay. On to the second coat. You want to do several coats of each color depending on how dark it is. While I wait for it to dry, I'm reading Book 5 on Warriors. This is my third coat. I usually record the coats on camera. To do the eyes, I'm just using this example picture that was actually from my Dappletail custom, but don't mind me. First, you're going to want to outline the eyelashes. It has a little outline. It comes with it even though if you do paint over it, it always is there. So I find that is a nice outline of how we can do our eyelashes. So that's always my first step in doing eyes after the base coat. For one type of eye, you can create a pupil staring into the center, to the snout. Just fill it in with black, and then you're going to want to get a little white on the end of your paintbrush or any other pointy object. I guess you could use a toothpick. And then you can use it to put a highlight. And then make the rim where you can use the eye color. Eye color can vary, and it's just really simple. Anything really looks good in my opinion. Now it's time to add the highlight, as I was talking about before. For a sweet look, try to put it in near the center. If you want them to be off-gazing, the highlight is showing where they're looking, essentially. Second type of eye, it's starting the same. You still want an eyelash. That's always the first step in eyes for me. For a central looking, go ahead and create a line. Fill it in. This is what I did on my Dappletail custom. This isn't what I did on my Goldenflower, though. Two types of eyes, though. For the highlight, I like to put it in the very center. I find it looks good. Here are some photos I referenced off of. Credit to all the amazing artists, by the way. As you can see, I was fond of this cute little flower that was behind the ear. You can see it in two of the artworks I referenced off of. So I decided to make it. First, what I do is pick out a yellow color. I open it up, having some trouble there. For some reason, my packaging was greasy. It was really weird. Anyway, take a pinch of clay. That should be enough. Roll it into an oval, kind of like a bread shape before you bake it. And then cut it into 3 little columns. They don't have to be perfectly equal. I think it looks cute when they're not perfectly equal, to be honest. Then make 3 balls out of each clump of clay and lay them down next to each other. Make them into a triangular shape almost. This is going to be the petals of your flower. And don't worry if it's not as big as you want it. Once we squish at it, it'll get bigger. And that's the next step. Just press down firmly, but not hard. And now I'm off to get some centerpiece. Yours can be yellow, but my flower is already yellow, and I didn't want it to be so much yellow. And so I decided to go with a nice chocolate brown color. It's a little dark, but I think it makes it look like a cute little sunflower. Sunflowers do have brown cores. Anyway, get a little pinch of that and roll it into a circle, smaller than your petals. Stamp it in the middle where all of your petals meet. And now it's time to bake it. I also gave it some texture in the middle by using a paintbrush. You know, how there's some little crumply things in the middle. That's what I tried to replicate with my paintbrushes. Hopefully it worked. It just kind of got squished. So you could do this if you want, but just be careful. Mine was so small, I kind of failed. Now it's time to bake it. I don't know how your oven works, but I just press bake, type in 275, which is how much my polymer clay bakes for, and then press done. And then I press start and it begins to preheat. I don't know how yours works, so double check. And then get some parchment paper, anything that's safe for the oven, and only get a little bit of it because you're not going to need a lot for your tiny little flower. I had some trouble recording and doing this at the exact same time, as you can see, but I eventually got a little piece. Also, when working with the oven, if you're a little kid, please get your parents' help. Put a little bit of parchment paper on and put your flour on it. I personally left it in the oven for 5 minutes, then checked back, saw if it was hard enough, 5 minutes again, check back, and that's how I did it. Then it gave it some texture and painting once it was all the way baked. Now it's time to glue it on. I just used Elmer's glue, the kind you use for school projects. I feel it works fine. Just get a little drop, put it on the place in the ear you want, and squish your flower on. I also added a glob right above the flower just for extra protection. Be really careful though. If you put it on your paintbrush to spread it out like I did, please wash your paintbrush unless you want it to be sticky and firm. And glue is hard to wash out. Once it's all good, then it's time to do the show.